Because there's nobody here. Nobody texted me that it doesn't work for them.
Why can't they just at 8:30 put the recording on?
I guess they could do that. Okay, so let's go. All right, we can fight about today's daf all by ourselves.
Aaron, you could send out another message that's starting now. That's it.
You mean I made it in time for daf?
Oh, there you go.
Amazing.
Okay, so we
were doing so well. We didn't see you on. We said, let's get going here.
Yeah, surprised either you or parents didn't knock me off the chat before you said it was 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so okay.
Gershon, it's Ella. We can't do that to you. You know what I mean?
Okay, where did we leave off?
On the 2 dots, I think, no?
But 2 dots, almost at the bottom.
Yeah, three lines up, yeah. Yeah, so again, we're talking about the different influences of things. So we said we finished off with the Gemara of the different things that a woman could take that shouldn't take, because it'll either make the milk sour or it'll make her milk supply dry up. So the Gemara said the Meshamsha, this is part of the reason why I couldn't do the daf in the car. That's what I was going to do. The Meshamsha Be'rechaya, right? So if you have intimacy by a mill, by a grinder, havalu b'nei nichvi, then the children are going to be nichvim, right? Which now there's an interesting Rashi here. So it's Velada Shemis Abras Sham Naiflim Mechai Lishmai Pishion. Okay, whatever it is. It's art school says it's epilepsy, but it's if you're mashamish over there, so then that can cause that to happen. Mashma that meaning if the pregnancy happens there, right? Meaning, is this a hashkafa thing? Which is that if you do this, if you have intimacy there, then even if there's a pregnancy that comes later on from an intimacy that wasn't from there, you still have this problem? Or is it dafka, there's something in the air around there? So it sounds like from Rashi, there's something in the air that dafka, and it's not like a heebie-jeebie type thing. It's just like a practical thing. You have relations there, then that's going to be the problem. The Mishamsha al-Ara, let's say they have relations on the ground, Havala b'nei shemuti. So they're going to have kids with long necks. So what's wrong with the wrong neck? Rashi says that is a mum. The darka al-rama de chamra, a woman who stands on top, or I don't know if it means that she steps in it, or she in the feces of a donkey. I don't know if it means she steps over it, she steps in it. I don't know. Havala b'nei gerdani. They're going to have kids that are bald. Yeah. The achla chardala. If a woman eats mustard, havala b'nei zolzani, that she's going to have kids that are always starving. Now, it doesn't say here that she eats it when she's pregnant. It just says that she eats it. Pashtus is that it means when she's pregnant. But it's not so clear in the Gemara. The achla tachli, if she eats cress, right, that's some sort of vegetation, right? Havala b'nei dulfini. She'll have kids that are going to have are always crying. I don't know if that means crying or they can always have tears in their eyes. That's the way Rashi says, right? The achla monini, if she eats dogim ketanim, havala b'nei mitzitzi, she's going to have kids with eyes that are constantly the eyelash is twitching. I think that's would be the word. The achla gargushta, if she eats gargushta is adama, the ground. We had that yesterday too. Havalu b'nei mechwarit, she's gonna have ugly kids. The shasya shecher, if she drinks beer. Havalu b'nei uchmi, she's gonna have dark kids. That we had, I think, in Shabbos. The achla bisra b'shasya chamra, if she eats meat and she drinks wine. Havalu b'nei onto Amar Aleph now. Havalu b'nei bari, then she's gonna have healthy kids, right? So wine and meat, parrots. There you go. Wine and meat. That's gonna make the kids healthy. The I don't know if he's.
So if they drink stout instead of beer, they have stout, and they have relations by the Rooker tournament, she'll have power forwards. It'll be great.
You know what? If a guy is balding, does that mean that we're going to ask the mother if she stepped? By the way, did you step in Chamar's thing? I'm saying, Lamaisa, some of these things do happen. You even see a guy with a long neck. So you say, okay, you ask the mother. Does this stuff apply? Does it not apply? Right? You have a girl with a dark complexion, a boy or a girl, dark complexion. Hey, did you drink a lot of beer when you were pregnant? Right? Saying we had Gemaras like this before.
We had Gemaras in Brachas that if you looked at the Tana when they came out of the mikveh, right?
Right. Yeah. There's these type of things. Yeah. But anyways, okay. So the Ochlibei, if a woman eats eggs, Havala b'nei inani, she's going to have large eyes. The Ochla kavari, if she eats fish, Havala b'nei chinani, she's going to have kids who have chen. We're not going down the road what chen means, right? But okay, chen l'chayra means that they're nice, good people. The Ochla karpasa, she eats karpas, which is in itself a machloek, as we all know what machloek is, what karpas is. Havla, right? Havla b'nei zivsani, she's going to have kids who shine. The Ochla kozbarta, if she eats kozbarta, okay, we're havla b'nei bisrani, she's going to have fat kids. See, that's another thing, right? So I'm saying you have fat kids. So now does that mean that you ate, I don't even know what kozbarta is exactly. Coriander, what is that, a spice?
Cilantro. Cilantro.
That's what it is?
Cilantro is what we call coriander leaves.
How come no one made a school out of this karpas thing yet?
A skula out of what?
This karpas.
Oh, I mean that karpas should be a good thing.
Naftali, why you never
Maybe
said
I'll go-
Keteris, you never said Keteris holding a karpas in the hand?
It could be that's what Rashi was trying to get away from. People shouldn't do that. Rashi here says it's peas, and Rashi in where is it? Rashi Psachim says it's celery. It's all kinds of things. Even Rashi himself touches it differently in different places.
I don't know. Maybe it's based on the
One place he touched it like his Rebbitzin.
Yeah. Then you have the next one is this one women do. The Ocha esrog, if she eats an esrog, Havala b'nei rechani, she's going to have kids that smell nice. I guess you save on deodorant. I'm saying, but a lot of women do bite.
They do that. They do that for easy pregnancy.
But they bite the pitum. The pitum l'chayr is not the esrog, right? That's not the esrog. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, Barte the
Rechani b'dafka mean nice.
No, a reach. I mean, it's a bad from the next Gemara. From the next Gemara, it's clear that it's a nice reach, right? But you're right. You can have all sorts of reach. Actually, it's funny. Like I always say these things that based on that day's daf, people ask me questions a lot of times. So today, a guy Taka asked if he's sitting on a plane and somebody has bad smell. Can you learn? So you're saying that that's what this reach is?
I have a close family member who used to always say, at certain points in time, I just released a fragrance.
Oh, that's very nice. Anyways, okay. So Barte the Shvarmalka, Achla Bas Amma Esroiga, the daughter of Shvarmalka, she ate Achla Ba'im, I'm sorry, Esroiga. The mother ate an esrog, obviously when she was pregnant. And they would bring her in front of her father, Bereish Rechani, at the top, at the beginning of the smells, meaning I guess, I'm assuming this means like a Rebbeisha thing where they take the psamim by the sudas and they smell, so the first thing that he brought to smell was his kid. Okay, so you see that it's a good smell. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna bar Chinana. Rav Huna bar Chinana gave us a bedika, meaning a check, a faher. She says that she wants to nurse the baby, and he says no, right? And l'chari, he doesn't want to do it because of her looks. I don't know why it should affect her looks, but that's l'chari. So Shaiman law, we listen to her. Tzara didahu, why? Because it's her tsar. Meaning, if she's not going to nurse, the way Rashi says it, is there's going to be too much milk, and she's gonna be in pain. So therefore, she has the right of refusal, not refusal. She has the right to say, which is a musar shabai right off the bat. Don't get involved in things that's your wife's asik, right? Don't get involved in the frumkeit. I'm sorry to go down this road. Don't get involved with the frumkeit of the sheiklach. It's not your tsar, it's her tsar. Right? Okay. Is that a tushtel or is that not a tushtel?
What right does he have? No, I'm saying, what right does he even have to say anything? Where does he
Correct.
come to?
Right. That's what the Gemara is saying. He has no right. It's her geschäft. It's her geschäft. But we can extend that to a lot of other things in marriage. Yeah. Fine.
Okay, these things do happen though, in some sense. He says she shouldn't because it's making her crazy in some way. She has to find the time, the space, the whatever.
That's a different
And she
story.
says, "No, I want to."
No, but there's a different story. This unfortunately does come up. The wife wants to do take a job. The wife wants to do this, and he says she's not capable. He is capable. It comes up more in the birth control situation, where one spouse wants yeah, and another spouse wants no, and yeah, okay, but that's a whole different schmooze. Fine. Where do I leave off? Yeah. So we listen to her. Because it's her tzar. Who Aimer lahanik? He says he wants her to nurse. V'Aimer shalei lahanik. And she says not to nurse. So mahu kol eichad lav archa. If it's not the derech to do it, Rashi says not the derech of the city, the derech of his family. Right? We had this a bunch of blot ago. If it's not his derech, so shaymin law, then we listen to her. He archa b'hu lav archa. If it's her minig and not his minig, then what's the din? Basa de deazlina, do we go with him? This was the test that he was giving. Basa de deazlina, do we go with him? Or basa de deazlina, do we go with her? Upashtina lei, we answer from this. She goes up to her husband's level, but she doesn't go down. Meaning the woman is always on the top. Meaning, if the husband's standard of living is higher than hers, then she gets to have that higher standard of living. If her standard of living was higher than the husband's, then it goes to her standard of living. Which, at least in my puny brain, I would think that the Baal is the Baal. She has to go along with whatever his hanhaga is, and the Gemara is clearly saying not like that. Right? Meaning she gets to go lakula in all ways. And Shulchan Aruch says the same thing. In Shulchan Aruch and Even Ezer, when it discusses the shibudim, she only has to do it if the derech in her family was to do it. Right?
So a regular person shouldn't marry a rich girl. That's what it said.
That's basically what you're asking for trouble. Yes, 100%. You're asking. We had a Gemara like that somewhere?
The Gemara said that already. You should stay in your own strata.
Yeah, try and stay in your lane, right? Anyway, the lashon Shulchan Aruch is kol elu hamalachos ein mechayven oisa elim ken yeh derech mishpachtay u'mishpachta lasoisan. She only has to do it if it's a derech of both. If it's not the derech of one or the other, then it's not negeya. Yeah, I'm actually, right before this, there was a shalom bayis situation also with where one is wealthy, one is not, and it's a little bit of a disaster. Fine. Amar Rav Huna.
But also a person, if his wife's used to a certain thing, he's supposed to try to accommodate her, even if it's not, even if it's more.
What?
Isn't that the Gemara we had by Kavura?
No, but it's even if it's more, he has to give
telling you.
What are you saying, Godabar?
I'm saying her family they've been going to since she's 3 years old. They're going to a $30,000 basic program. And so he shouldn't marry that girl if he's not making $300,000 a year. He should not marry that girl. He shouldn't marry her.
Wait, is that better or worse?
He's going to tell her to make Pesach.
Right, she's going to say, I don't know.
She doesn't know what a spoon looks like.
right, yeah. It's a shiloh. You're right. It would be a shiloh. Is she mechuyev? She says, listen, you marry me to make Pesach. I have no idea to make Pesach. I don't know. I mean, that would be, yeah. Yeah,
See,
fine.
Yaakov, so
Yeah.
I'm Baruch Hashem, I'm married, it's almost 52 years. So when I was a Bach, it's a long time ago. And one time on a Monday morning in yeshiva, Shlomo calls me over. He says, Aaron, he said, you saw that there was a balabas here yesterday in yeshiva for an hour or two? I said, yeah, I saw him. He says, well, he was watching you.
I don't know.
No shidduch, they're too rich for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I hear. Wow. All right. So I mean, that's hey, listen, it's doable. We're not saying it's not doable. But yeah, you could. I mean, that's exactly what the Gemara is saying. Fine. So
Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, good. Go bite.
Zev, don't get upset now.
Fine. So Amar of Huna Mikra, the Be'ula's Baal. She is the Be'ula of a Baal. Right? I mean, why doesn't it say she's an Ashes Ish? Bali. So we're gonna have a play on words. Bali Yosai Shel Baal, V'loi B'Yirit Dosai Shel Baal. She goes up with the husband. She doesn't go down with the husband. It says by Chava, she was the mother of everything. She was given to give life, right? And not meaning she was supposed to have a life by being married. She was not supposed to have pain by being married. So therefore she gets to marry up. And that's the way it is. Fine.
There's some shots in these two psukim. These two psukim are complete opposites. One's the Kadosh Baruch Hu punishing Avimelech. One's the gift to Chava. Well,
right.
It's just
I don't know.
the Gemara here. Puk doesn't ask why doesn't he learn like that one.
I don't know. I hear. I mean, why doesn't want to ask why didn't you? Okay, I don't know. Do we do that because we're not really learning out halacha from this. I mean, it's not halacha. We're just saying what's the mikra, what's the pasuk. It's not teaching us a din. We're saying we said
it's not. I thought this was the makar for this halacha.
It is, but I don't think we're saying. But it doesn't say it's mikra. What's a pasuk? What is the pasuk that? Yeah,
it's like where's the marumas in the kra?
Correct. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think. Anyway, so chnisa shifcha. So then we said so she's got to do the 7 things for the husband, right? But if she brings in a shifcha, then we knock off a few. Well, if she brings in the shifcha, why not knock them all off? Hashara of but the other ones, right? The other 3, right? Meaning the other 4, right? We knock off 3, but she still has to do cooking. She still has to nurse, and she still has to take care of the house, the beds, and she still has to do the wool. Why? So why? V'teimele ayalas loch itza b'charikai. Charikai means I swapped it out. I gave you a shiksa. You need to marry somebody to do the household work. So I brought in a shiksa. So Gemara answers Shamdamar Lok, because he says to her, so the shiksa, the help that you're bringing in is helping me and her. Kamei didach man tarach, but who's going to do your work, or who's going to do the work for you, right? Meaning one woman could do the work for 2, but one woman can't do the work for 3. That's basically what it's saying. So therefore, she still has to do some of the work. Fine. Then we have in the next case too. So if she brings in two helps, then she doesn't cook and she's not manika. So I'm going to ask Hashara of but the other 2 she still has to do, working the wool and making the beds. The Taimale, I brought you another help. The Tarcha Lidida, the Chada Lidida. One is meaning you have one. We just said before that one could work for 2. Just one can't do the work for 3. So here you have 4 people, right? 2 shiksas, a husband and a wife. So that's enough. So the one answers from Damar Allah, Kamei Archi, Parchi Man Tarach. Who is going to do the tircha if they have guests? Right? If guests and parchi means people. I don't know exactly what the difference is between archi and parchi. Right? Rashi says archi is they stay for a week or a month. I mean, and parchi means that they're passing through. I'm not so sure why that should make a difference. I mean, why not just guests and finish?
Is he allowed to force his wife to do something for guests?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like that's the regular derech.
What if the guy says I want 10 people every Shabbos? Is he allowed to do that?
If from here it sounds like no.
Yeah, that's why I didn't understand.
Yeah, from here it sounds like yes, he's entitled to have that. Seems like that was
where's that saying anyway in the Ksuba? Where's the thing?
I don't
Like,
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's considered a regular. I understood it as that's a regular functioning household. They have guests. So that's
okay.
That's what I think, but again, I don't know. Fine.
The Chayr, we're talking about Shvachas Gaitas, right? Kananis.
Love Dafka. Why can't it be Yid?
No, I mean it could be, but I just think that if it's
I
talking
keep
about
saying shiksas.
Yeah.
Could be Yidden. Back then they used. I don't understand this one, Rabban. There's another question. In Europe, right, the Chavetz Chaim writes, it could be careful, be nice to the household work, because a lot of times there are almonas in Yisayim. Really? So imagine if that's what we're going to use for our shiksas. Oh, we got a Yosaman and almana. She needs help. Let him come. What is that? Imagine you did that. So when they make a collection for an almana, and everybody's, no, why? Let her become my cleaning lady, right?
They didn't have food to eat.
No, so why they should have?
They didn't have food to eat. What
It's not. They didn't have money to give people to today.
The guy has his father sent.
But they had money to hire people, Reb Zev, that they had money
in a
for.
25-room
No,
house.
it's a live-in.
They give them a job.
living?
They give them a job.
Right.
They give them a job. That's all.
It's good. So hello. If you give him a job, so you give him the job and let him stay home. Pay him and
Reb
let him stay
Zev, this
home.
is not Darkei Torah where they have unlimited jobs to give out, not really fill them. They gave out a job. You had to do the job. Zehu, if they didn't have to do the job, just give him the money.
How much did you drink today?
1 second.
This is
Why
me sober. Wait till I'm drunk.
Okay, right. We got a
No,
lot
but the
more
point
to
of
do,
this
so-
was the
You want to know we have
inflation?
inflation now?
Could
We
be
don't have
diapers.
inflation. That's inflation.
Yeah.
That's real inflation, Reb Zev.
And the
Anyway.
Gemara says that we have to let her do her work. L'didi l'dida. And
Right.
l'dida.
Right.
So we don't say, even by a shiksa, we won't say, I don't care about your work. You're working for me and my wife. That's it. Find your own time to do your work. I don't care. We don't say that. You have to give her, space to do her own work.
Yeah. And a Hanami,
The case in this mission, how rich these people are, this husband and wife. Her father sent 4 slaves to her house to live there.
right.
How many rooms did they have? 20, 30? They didn't have 4 rooms on Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. They had 20. They had 25 rooms in Herzliya. They had a 25-room villa in Herzliya. These people in the Mishnah here. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And a Hanami.
Who, me, or you still going on at your son-in-law?
My son-in-law, I didn't say you. I'm not going
Your
to you.
reasons. Yeah. Anyway, okay, right. Shalosh enem matzah samita. 3, then she doesn't even have to make them.
I missed Musser. I needed that.
I just
We
want to
didn't do
go
most.
on record that I
We
love my
didn't do most.
shveh. I just want to go on record. I love my shveh. That's all. I want to go on record.
Maybe I'll say 2 things. We know you're full of it, and we don't know if it's reciprocated.
Baruch Hashem. It's all good. His shver didn't send 4 shiksas though with his daughter. I don't think. No. Yeah.
And this is Rashi Yaakov. We're supposed to think is normal too, that a woman's father sends strange women to live in her house while helping her husband. That's also we're supposed to say, it's sure, it's time in the Gemara. It's about it. All the Tanaim are walking around. Yechon and Zan is walking around. So it must be a wonderful thing. You understand?
Right.
You understand such a thing?
It comes right, and it comes up. It actually comes up tomorrow. Oh no, it comes up later in the daf. You're right. We'll get to that. It comes up later in the daf.
Wait,
Yeah.
but Aaron, it should answer some of your other kashas. How come it was so frequent that these things happen? This is
Yeah. Anochanami. Anyways, right. The shalosh enem matzah samita. 3. If she brings in 3 shiksas, she doesn't have to make the beds. Hashara avda, but the rest she has to do. Right. Meaning, so what are the rest? We already covered all 7. Right. So Rashi says devarim ketanim. I don't know exactly what goes under that category of devarim ketanim. She still has to help him out. Okay, so v'teimale ayelis loch achriti la'archei uparchi. Right, I brought up another one in order for guests. So I mean, how many shiksas do you want? I brought them all in so that I don't have to do any work. So mashum da'amra la nafish b'nei beisa nafish archei uparchi. The more people there are in the house, the more guests. So therefore, I'm going to need more help. So if that's the case, the last part of the mission was that if she brings in 4 shiksas, she doesn't have to do anything. She just sits in her chair. So 4 also. Once you have 4 people running around the house helping out, then they help each other. Fine.
Does this mean like Rashi by Meraglim? The one person carries X, 2 people, they help each other so they can carry 3 times.
I don't know. Is that the same?
Arba Messiah, they coincide,
maybe.
they help each other, they can do
Maybe.
much more.
I hear. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't think of that. Okay, let's see. Doesn't mean that she has to actually come. Rabbi, I don't know if this answers yours or I don't think it answers it, but it's saying it doesn't mean that she has to actually come with the 4 shiksas. Since she is roy to it, meaning she's got so much money that theoretically she could have this, and even if she didn't bring it. Meaning, again, because if she's not roy to do this type of thing, at least the way Rashi understands it, then it's not, then she doesn't have to. So Tana, whether she brought in the money. Now I don't know if this disagrees with what we just said, because from what we just said, it sounds like it's only if she is right to bring in the 4. Mashma that if she saves all her money to have her own shiksas, then maybe not. But then the Gemara says here, Tana echad shechnisa lo, it doesn't make a difference whether it was brought in with her, meaning it came from the father, the money for all this help, or whether she was mitzamtzam, meaning she squeezed for herself for it, meaning she's paying it out of her own pocket, but she really wants the cleaning help. Okay, fine. Weiter arba yeshevas b'katatra. So if she brings in 4 cleaning helps, then she sits on what do we touch kadarta again? Like a couch. So Amar Rav Yitzchak Bar Chananya Amar Rav Huna Ava Bishamar yeshevas b'katatra. But even though we said she sits on the couch, aval mazegas lekois, she should pour him cups. And she should make his bed, and wash his hands, feet, and face. Right? Because otherwise she's not doing anything for him, and it'll cause some shalom bias issues where the guy says, what do I have this wife for? Right? What do I need this wife for if she's not doing anything for me? I mean, obviously, other than the obvious, right? But yeah, I don't know. I believe that this does come into play in shalom bias bizman hazeh, where the most time women are coming into marriage because they want financial security and they want to feel secure. Meanwhile, the women are making more than the husbands, right? Then the man, he needs a woman to take care of him, except half the time he doesn't like his supper, so he goes to Season Express and he gets his food there. So then he starts thinking, okay, well, then his clothing goes to the cleaners, right? And so what does he need his wife for? So she's thinking, what am I married to him for? And he's thinking, what am I married to her for? And hallelujah, you know what I mean? And then you have smartphones on Maven Yovin to take care of the other situation. And then whatever. It's unsubstantiated chashash that I'm saying, but I think that it has some sort of effect. Anyways, yeah, we should only hear Psudas type. It's fine. So Amar Rav Yitzchak Bar Chananya Amar Rav Huna, Kol malacha sheisha aisa l'bayla nidda aisa l'bayla. Any malacha that a woman does for her husband, a nidda can also do for her husband. This is what we call harchakas. Chutz migzigas akais. She can't pour a cup for him. Batzos amita. She can't make his bed. Rachatz is part of yad v'raglav, and she can't wash his hands, feet, and face. Try that nowadays, even when she's not a nidda. Right? So anyways, but these are the things that she's not allowed to do when she's a nidda. Now, Hatzos Hamita, there's a lot of misunderstanding amongst the people. Most poskim say Hatzos Hamita is not making the bed in the morning. From this Gemara, it seems to be obvious. Like Vasepis Hatzos Hamita, she's supposed to do even if she has four cleaning helps, right? We said she should still make his bed. What's the difference between making his bed or sweeping the floor? Right? Hatzos Hamita means what we in the fancy hotel you have what we call turn down service. Right, where they come and they put the chocolate on the pillow and they fluff up the pillows and they take off the bedspread, whatever. That's most poskim, not all poskim. Most poskim say that's hatzos hamita. That a nidda can't do because that could be a turn on, right? All of a sudden, his wife comes in, she starts preparing his bed, and it can make him. But to make the beds in the morning, that's not what we're talking about. Fine. So Amar Rav this is only in front of him. Less lumba, right? If he's not there in the room, then she can make the beds. That's not an issue. Fine. And she can pour the kais. Shmuel's wife, right? She would switch hands to her left hand. When she served it, she would serve it with a shinui, which is the way we passed it. Right, that when you're serving the spouse, when she's a nidda, so the question is, does it have to be for even food? Is it only for drink? Is it only for wine? Okay, that's the place to discuss. But she did it with a shinui. Abaya manchala apuma de kuva. The Abaya's wife. It's interesting. It doesn't say that it's their wives, but that's what we're talking about. So it has to be that it's their wives. So Abaya manchala apuma de kuva would put it on the mouth of like a jug. Rava, Abesaji, Rava will put it on the pillow. Rapapa, Ashashifa. He would put it onto Shashifa's like and he goes safsal, a bench. Amar Rav Yitzchak bar Chananya, Amar Rav Huna, Hakol mashim b'fnei hashamish. You can, with all types of foods, you can mashin means you can wait in front of the shamish, meaning you have a waiter and he's serving you. So do you have to feed the waiter? So he's saying with all types of foods, you don't have to feed him right away. You can let him serve the meal and then he could eat. Chutz mi basar v'yayin, except for basar and yayin. Amar Rav Chisda, basar v'yayin, basar shamein v'yayin yashan. It's old meat, fat meat, and old wine. That you have to give him right away. Are we talking about Yiddish waiters here or Goyish waiters? I wasn't clear on what, I'm not sure. The chayri,
what's the isser? If the isser is leisachsim, what does it make a difference?
I don't think it's leisachsim. It's leisachsim. I thought you're putting them in danger by not letting them eat. That's muchach from the next gemaras.
Yeah, but wouldn't there be a leisachsim also?
I was wondering, do we say leisachsim by humans?
Yeah.
We do.
That's where the isser, what's it called? The pile is working in the field.
Yeah, he's allowed to
let him eat.
Allowed to eat.
No, but that's not al leisachsim. That's al leisachsim.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes.
Well, it's a machlokes amiroim. One of them says leisachsim. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But that there wouldn't be that over here because they're not working directly with the food. They're working with service, not with the grapes, Lamash. But it could be an offshoot of leisachsim, in which case it wouldn't make a difference necessarily if it was a year ago.
I hear.
Even if it's danger, even if it's masukan, what would it make a difference?
If he's what do you mean? A guy or a yid?
I mean, would it make a difference between a yid and a guy if the isra is because of danger?
I don't know. I'm not sure about. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Anyway, so Amar Rava, Basa Shamin Kol Hashana Kula. Basa Shamin is a whole year. Yain Yoshan b'Tekufas Tammuz. Yain Yoshan is only an issue in Tekufas Tammuz. Right? So here, so Rashi says, what's Tekufas Tammuz? It's very strong. Right? It's like, so it can be like Eres, like venom. Amar Ravana bar Tachlifa Havakimna Kameda Mar Shmuel. I was standing in front of Mar Shmuel, V'aisile Tavshila Da'ardi. And they brought him some sort of mushrooms, fungus, some sort of fungus. I don't know if it's mushrooms or and that's what it is, Gershon, right? We love the yav, like, and if he wouldn't have, if he had not given me, he shared some with me. Istakni, I would have been in sakana, right? Which is an el sugya because of the sakana of a bulmus, right? The sugya is in yuma. Fine. I'm Rav Ashi. Have a kivna commander of Kahana. I was standing in front of Kahana. Va'isuli kardelidi to lift the bachala, and they brought him some sort of turnips with vinegar. He loved the yavli, and if he wouldn't have given me, he wouldn't have shared it with me. Stakne would have been masukah. But Papa Amar afilu tamarta de chininisa, even a tamar, a date that's fatty, even that, if you can, it can be dangerous. Klalo de mil. So what's the rule? Call this larecha visla kiyua. Anything that has a good reach, or kiyua means like a strong reach, is gonna, anything like that, you have to give somebody the taste. Avua bar ihi Rabban, by the ball games, I'm always wondering about that. If that smell is a zagishmaka smell. And today's store doesn't have that issue because they go to the kosher stand, but that smell is a zagishmaka smell. Is that right? Is that putting themselves into sakana? Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. Avu bari, Binyamin bari. So they would give chad safi mikol mino mina. He would give to the waiter each and every food. He would share it. The chad safi mechad mina, and the other one will only give one. Mar mishtay Elio ba'adei. One of them had gilu Elio, or at least Elio talked to him. Umar loy mishtay Elio ba'adei, and one Elio didn't talk to him. So meaning the one who had more rachmanis was zayche for Elio to talk to him. I don't. I'm sure there's lots of pshatim out there of exactly what that means, but okay. Hanu tartin chasidi. There were two chasidim. Ba'amila Ramari v'Rapinchas b'nei Rav Chisda. Some say that it was those two. Mar kodim Sofi. One would give him first. Right. Umar ma'acher Sofi, and after Sofi means to give, and the other one would push it off to later. So the kodim Sofi. Elio Mishtay Ba'adei, the one who gave them first, Elio would speak to him. The Ma'acher Safi Lo Mishtay Elio Ba'adei, he wouldn't give them. So even though we saw before that from the previous Gemara that lahalacha you don't have to feed your waiters unless it's a food that will put them in danger. But then here we're saying, okay, but if you want Gili Elio, you better be nice to them. Fine. They were sitting at the opening to Be'azgar Malka. This story, I have a hard time with the story. They were walking past. The Turgan de Malka was walking past the how do you call it? The butler. Chazia Rav Ashi leMarzucha. Rav Ashi saw Marzucha's face on top of base now. The Chavarape, that his face became white because he wanted that food. So what did he do? Shokol betzbase. He took some of the food with his finger, and he put it into Marzutra's mouth. Right? So now l'chayra, this is not kosher food, and he put it into his mouth. So okay, so the place can say that that's just a taste, and you can put treif into your mouth, even though really you shouldn't put treif in your mouth. But that's what he was doing. He wasn't swallowing. The bigger sugya here. Well, let's just finish, and then so Amralei. After the Lusudas of the Malki, you just ruined the meal of the king. The king is not eating food that somebody stuck their finger into it and licked the finger. Right? Amrulay, he said, I might have it hachi. So he said to him, why'd you do this? So now he's going to get into trouble. Amrlahu, man da'avid hachi pasal amaychel de malka. Whoever did this, meaning made this food, is not right to be cooking for the melech. Amrulay amai. So they said, why? I saw chazer in there, right? But they checked and they didn't see anything in there. So he took his finger, right? Rav Ashi took this butler's finger, put it on it, and did you check this part of the food? They checked it, and they found it. Right? So you see that he was right. So the Rabbanan told Rav Ashi, my taima samacht anisa. Why were you samach on a nes? Right? Meaning you said that there was a problem with the food, and you had no way of proving it. So I saw some ruach of tsaras. So therefore, it must be. meaning he said he saw the ruach of tzaras on Mar Zutra. I'm assuming that means because he put the food into his mouth, right? That's right. That's what that means. He put the food into his mouth, so he saw this type of thing going on him, and therefore he knew this. So it wasn't a nace. Yeah. So what exactly happened here? So I'm saying one of the things that the place can learn from this is that do you put yourself in a makam sakana in order to save somebody's life? The bottom line is these guys are going to come after you. You just ruined the king's meal. What happened? Mar Zutra had a bulmus because he smelled this food. Like we just got finished saying, if you don't eat the food when you smell it and you want it, so it puts your life in sakana. So Rav Ashi went and put his life in sakana by ruining the food, the supper of the king. I don't know if it was supper, the food of the king, in order to save Mar Zutra's life. Do we really do that? Are you allowed to put yourself in sakana? Meaning, a guy's going on Atzalah, right? Does he drive like a meshugana, putting his own life and other people's lives in danger, a suffix sakana, in order to save somebody, or not? From this Gemara is mashma that you could, right?
Why? I would say it's mashma not.
Why?
Because the maskana of the Gemara, he saw ruach tzaras. That was before. He saw the ruach tzaras before, so he wasn't putting himself in danger.
Yeah, but he didn't know that they were gonna find it. They may not have found it. He was using. Well, he knew where it was. He showed him where it was. Good, but initially they didn't. Why didn't he show it to them in the first place? He thought they would find it. I don't know. Okay, let's see about that.
Why isn't this Gemara a raya against the Taz and the Shach at the beginning of Taruvus?
That what?
With Tarfus, you're not allowed to do this. Put it in your mouth. Only on a tinus. That's the Taz. The Shach says even more than the tinus. Yeah, this is mamish Tarfus, no?
Yes, it's mamish. That's what we said. So
the what?
That it was just tasted. He didn't eat it.
The Taz says that's not mutter. The beginning, right at the beginning. The Taz and the Shach.
All right. So then there's a hard tzvi. There's a hard tzvi that says when this gets into the whole tray for toothpaste, tray for all that stuff, right? So there's a hard tzvi that allows it. If it's a derabanan, I don't know if this is derabanan deraisa. It
says chazir.
But maybe it was bottled in the rest of the food. I don't know. Okay, this Taurus. Okay, we got to go a little bit back. So, another strange story. There was this Roman fellow who told a woman, right? I'm assuming this woman is not a Yid, right? A Roman told a woman, mitzvahly, marry me. Amrale, loy. She said no. Azal isi rimne. So he went and he bought pomegranates, pali va'achel, and he cracked them open and he ate. He ate in front of her. Kol maya tzatzari all the mayim, all the saliva was causing her pain. So balase, she swallowed it. And he didn't give her until she swallowed. The pshat is she swallowed so much saliva that she became like see-through. If I'm going to heal you, so will you marry me? Amrale, and she said yes. So Azal, I see Rimni, she went and she brought more pomegranates. I'm sorry, he went and brought more pomegranates. Pali va'achel kama, and he went and he broke them open and ate in front of her. Amarlo, and he said to her, Kol maya detzari loch, tuf shadoi. All the saliva that you put in, spit it out. Ad nafka mina ki chutza yarka, so then this big green leafy thing came out of her, and she got better. So there is practical halacha. I'm going to send it out as a halacha text soon. Is a Mishnah Berurah brings this, that if you're in the whole siman about sudas at the end of Kufsama whatever, and Chelik Beis in Mishnah Berurah or Chaim, so he says there, if you're really hungry, I mean, if you smell something very good, then you got to spit. You have to spit it out, otherwise it's unhealthy. Fine. And she also has to work with the wool. But Semer in Bepishtim Loi, she works with wool. She doesn't have to work with flax. Masnisan money. Rabbi Yehuda the Tanya einay kaifa loy lamoid lifnei aviv v'loy lamoid lifnei b'nai. This is what Rabban was saying before. I mean, I don't know what he's saying there, but this is we can't force him to stand in front of his father, or to stand in front of the son, not even to put grain in front of the animals, right? So, again, I don't know what the pshat in this is, but Rashi says that we don't force her to feed the sus and the chamar because they're always looking for to sleep with things, and she might end up with the taiva to sleep with them. So therefore, she does not have to serve them. But in front of cattle, yes, because they don't have the same taivas. Okay, I'm just going to move on from that. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Af ena koifa lasis b'pishton." We don't even force her to work with flax. Because it makes you have bad breath, and it makes the lips blow up, right? Because basically you have to put it into your mouth when you're sewing. You have to put it into your mouth, so therefore you have to you have to make it wet in order for it to work. So that will mess up the lips. But that's only with flax from Rome. I guess there was something about the flax from Rome that could make this happen. Fine. Even if she brings in 100 shvachas, she still has to do some work. That even if she brings in 4, she has to do some work with wool. We had this in I don't know where we had this Gemara. We had this 3 cases of shvud using a spit, and the case of shvachas, which is our case, and gumos, right? These are all the okay. I guess we'll discuss it. The shaila is it considered muksa, the spit, after using it on Yom Tif? Is it disgusting or not? Shvachas is our sugya, and gumos is does they need pores for the holes, which is the holes for the hair to see if somebody matures. Bluris, afer, that's all. That's Ramachia with a vav. Bloiris, afer, makla, ugvina. So the bloiris is for avodah zara, the long hair. Afer makla is putting ashes. If you use ashes to heal something, so that will make like what do you call it? Tattoo, right? And gvina is the gvina sakum that you're not allowed to eat a guy's cheese. So that's all Ramalchia with an aleph. Rapapa and Masnisa and Masnisa Ramalchia. The Mishnah and the Brisa is Ramalchia with an aleph. Shmaitza and the Amirayim is Ramalchia with a vav. Okay, so what's the practical difference? Simanach Masnisa Malchasa. I'm sorry. First, the siman is that the Brisa is Malchasa, both alephs. My benai. What's the practical halachic difference between these two? Ikabenal shvachas. The only difference between them is shvachas, which is a Mishnah, and it's not from Amirayim. Fine. Shimon Gamliel says no. She has to. Even if a guy makes a nidda that he's not going to use anything from his wife, he has to get divorced. Hainu Tanakama. That's the same thing as the Tanakama, right? Which is Rabbi Eliezer. Which it's interesting that the Gemara calls him the Tanakama, but Rabbi Eliezer said that she's going to go meshuga, right? And this one is because she's going to end up being promiscuous. So Yikabenayu the metalula begorisa ketnisa, talking about where she plays with dogs and some sort of game called ishkakish, whatever that is, meaning she has entertainment, right? And venidishtra, and I'm sorry, begorisa ketnisa means small dogs. And the ditrisha means chess. That's what the article calls it, chess. Okay, whatever it is, check. I mean, I guess from the word check. That's the way right. So basically, and unfortunately, there's a lot. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. There's a lot of mussar to be learned from this. But we're talking about where she has entertainment, right? But it's not anything practical. So for wasting time, she's not wasting her time. She's entertained, but it could still lead, all this type of stuff could lead to zima, to bad things, which basically it's saying just because you're doing something, if you're occupying yourself with stupidity, it could end up bringing you to zima, which is why. Okay, so then what about? It sounds like from here that you shouldn't be playing games and you shouldn't be going to baseball games and playing board games and all that type of thing. It's still not a good thing to do, right? So it's mashma from this Gemara because we're still afraid. She's not going to go cuckoo because she's busy, but she's busy with stupidity. So then these things could lead to that. So whatever. So I guess we got to keep away from that type of thing. Okay, I guess should we just do the Mishnah?
Let's bang out the Mishnah.
We should say the Mishnah?
Yeah. Go.
Okay, so Hamadar is Ishtoi with Tashra Shamita. If somebody makes a nidda against his wife from Tashra Shamita, Peshamai says, what does it mean? That if he says that she can't sleep with, he's not going to sleep with her for 2 weeks. Shabbos Achas, 1 week, right? So I mean that's what it is. So therefore, that's not allowed, right? Yeah, meaning the lashon in the Mishnah is a little confusing here. What the Mishnah means, right? So meaning he's allowed to make a neder, then he could stay married. I mean, if he is up until 2 weeks according to Mishama, he could stay married, and in Pesil it's 1 week. But other than that, not. Talmidim yaitzin the Talmud Torah shalei rishus shleishim yom. Talmidim would just go learn in yeshiva. They don't need to ask their wife permission, as long as it's less than 30 days. Hapayilim Shabbos Achas. A worker can leave for 1 week. So ha'ayna amura b'Torah. So it's interesting. Somebody asked me a shaila today. His mikvah night falls out. He had a previously planned business trip, and now his wife's mikvah night falls out on that night. Is he mechuyev to change? Is he mechuyev to change the trip, or can he go? Right now, if she's been a nidda, that means they haven't been together almost 2 weeks, which means he has not been mekayim his mitzvah of ayna. So not so pashut that he can go on this trip. So you got to get mechila from the wife. At least lechatchila get the mechila from the wife. Right?
You didn't tell him to take her with?
I assume that wasn't feasible.
Yeah, I would have just buy her another shaker from the business trip and call it a day.
Maybe that might be what he has to do afterwards.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so ha'ayna amura b'Torah. What's ayna? By the way, it's not ayna, right? Ayna is ripping somebody off. Ayna means from the word time. Well, how much time? Meaning, how often does a man have to sleep with his wife? So ha'tayolim b'chol yom, people that are traveling, right? Meaning, obviously, it means people that are around. So then it's every day. Hapoilim shtayim b'Shabbos. Workers is shtayim b'Shabbos. We pass in b'zman hazeh. We're like poilim. Achamarim achas b'Shabbos. A donkey driver is once a week. Agamalim achas l'shoshim yom. A camel driver is once every 30 days. A safarim, a sailor who leave for a long time, achas l'shisha chadashim, is once every 6 months. Divrei Rebbe Eliezer. That's the words of Rebbe Eliezer. Meaning, when they date, and it's an interesting shaila. When they date and they decide to get married. So she understands. She says, "I'm a sailor." So she understands going in that he's only going to be around once every 6 months. And if he's a camel driver, it's once every 30 days. If he's this, that, so then that's what she signed up for. So that's it. What happens if he wants to change jobs? Does he have to ask his wife for permission? From the Mishnah, it sounds like he has to ask the wife for permission. Okay, we'll see more about this. We'll see more tomorrow. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you for tuning in early, and
Mazel tov.